My name is Alexis Ikarma. I was on the fall 2021 program to Mexico, Migration, Borders, and Transnational Communities, and I go to the University of Louisville. I really liked the thematic element of the program. I specifically applied to it because I felt that the themes of all of the classes and the excursions we're going on were so tightly knit and related to what I wanted to do and what I wanted to learn. So I really enjoyed how intentional SIT is about designing a program for specific outcomes, learning outcomes, and experiential outcomes. So you don't just come away with feeling like, okay, I got to see a lot of cool things, I got to visit a lot of new places and meet new people, which you do get to do, but you feel like I have greater knowledge about a particular issue or intersection of issues that really interests me, and you come away with a greater understanding in that particular area of interest. And I really appreciated that about SIT's program, specifically in Mexico. I think one of the most memorable things that we did during the program was when we had our excursion to Chiapas. We were in Tapachula during this particular part of the excursion, and we got to spend the day at a migrant shelter. That was really, really interesting. I think the experiences in which we actually got to spend time with people that we're learning about, and when we talk about migration, a lot of times it can feel a little abstract and theoretical, and it doesn't really feel super real until you are actually spending time with these people and hearing their stories, and just watching how they are navigating some really, really difficult dynamics. And I think it was really cool to talk to the children that were there. There were a lot of kids, and listen to them and their resilience and the excitement and the hopes that they had to get to a certain part of Mexico or to get to the United States, and to just see, despite all that they've experienced, how much hope that they had. And it really opened me to a level of understanding about the migration experience that I never could have accessed had I stayed in the United States and studied a lot of these cultural issues and taken these classes and read them out of a textbook. And I think as someone who wants to work and to serve the immigrant community here in the United States where I live, that was really invaluable, because you actually get to see real people in their cultural context. And I don't know, it's a different way of learning about something that you can't experience staying where you are. You get to talk to people who are advocates and lawyers or scholars and researchers, and you get a variety of different kinds of people that in different ways are contributing to the well-being of the migrant community in Oaxaca, which is really cool. And all of them have a lot of different valuable insights that I really enjoyed drawing from, and different personalities and ways of teaching. So I think that was a really cool experience. One thing that I didn't expect to learn, but I did while I was taking classes in Oaxaca, was the different pedagogical methods that are used in Mexico, and different ways of approaching teaching and learning that I'd never experienced, in ways of doing assignments and doing education that are different from the way it's done in my university or maybe in the U.S. generally. And doing classes in Spanish and learning how to be a student in another language. There were so many things that were different that allowed me to come out of my comfort zone. But I feel like the professors really help you along in that process, and they don't expect you to be an expert, and they don't expect you to be perfect at Spanish or to always be able to convey everything you want to say perfectly. But they're guiding you along the way, and they're giving you access to this level of understanding that they have living in Oaxaca and working with different groups and communities. And so you feel like, in some sense, you're getting plunged into a lot of change and challenging situations you're not ready for, but you also feel like you have access to a lot of guidance and help along the way, so you don't feel alone, and you're with a lot of other students who are experiencing the same thing. So it's fun. It's fun being in the classroom. It's nice to have the same people in every classroom and to feel like you're bonding, and you can talk about the same issues and work through assignments together, and there's a lot of camaraderie that comes with that. So I appreciated that experience. Yeah, I did. I did feel supported by the staff. I felt like it was helpful to have actually, this is something that Omar would do that I really thought was very kind. We would have little sessions throughout the program where he would just sit and listen to us and ask us how are you doing? What kinds of challenges are you confronting? What are you experiencing? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel yeah, just to kind of hear where we were, and we were able to share some of those things around the room, and you can learn, oh, so-and-so is feeling the same feeling that I am, or so-and-so is struggling with this, or share just a cool insight that you gained, or something fun you experienced. And I think I really appreciated that, because more than just being people that were trying to help you advance academically and learn, everyone just kind of cared about how you were doing. And there were parts in the program where I was I feel really homesick, or I feel I don't know how to deal with, or I don't know how to approach this aspect of my relationship with my host mom, or I don't know how to do this. And you're never treated oh, you should know how to handle all of this right away, or you're never made to feel bad for struggling, I guess. And that makes me, that made me feel really safe to be able to share how the experience was really for me, and not just the good parts or the high points. So I appreciated that support. This is actually really exciting because I'm about to finish my senior honors thesis here at my university, and a lot of what I was able to do with the thesis came out of doing research in Oaxaca, and I definitely could not have accomplished it without having that experience. It's a little strange in the sense that you're doing classes for the first 2 months of the program, and then you get into that third month, and all of the program activities and classes are finished, and you just have this 4-week span of time where you're just doing research. Can be kind of intimidating, and it can be really difficult to figure out how to manage all of that free time and make sure that you are setting goals for yourself and being productive every day, so at the end you feel okay, I didn't have to rush to get this done. It's complete. It's the way I want it to be. I know, talking to people coming into the program when we first got there, they were very daunted, because they were first of all, I've never written something this long before, and I've never written something this long in Spanish before. Some of them had never written research before. And it's helpful because we have a research methods and ethics class that essentially prepares you for this 4-week research period. So, you learn how to do ethnographic research in the context of Oaxaca, and how to, Omar helps you to curate your topic. And so when you come in, you have a good vision of, okay, this is what I'm planning to accomplish. These are the steps I need to take to do it. It's feasible for 4 weeks, so that you don't feel overwhelmed when you first jump in. But I really love doing the research. Honestly, it was one of my favorite parts, because I was able to come to a topic that I was really passionate about and I really cared for. And part of what I did during my research was interviewing some of the teachers and the people that worked in the program with me, that were legal advocates and lawyers, because that's what I want to be, and got to talk to them about their experience representing immigrants in Oaxaca, how to develop proficiency in Spanish and cultural competence to better approach and represent these immigrants in legal contexts, because I want to be able to bottle up that knowledge and bring that to people who are doing similar work here in the United States, so that attorneys in the U.S. can learn to be more culturally competent and can understand, okay, what does it mean to use Spanish in the context of a legal negotiation or with a client, and how does that help foster trust and rapport with the client in a way that using a translator wouldn't. And all of those things were things that I maybe could have learned to some extent talking to immigration attorneys in my city, or doing research and seeing what cultural competence training models have already been created for students here. But I definitely wouldn't have gained the inside perspective that I was able to access here when I was in Oaxaca doing the research. And when I brought that back, it was I could just tell how valuable that was to have that experience. And um, so I'm thankful because it sets you up to do something, not only something you're passionate about and something that you can, like a physical piece of writing that you can look back at and say, okay, like I was able to accomplish this, that's good. But it can almost be like a stepping stone towards something bigger that you might want to do. Some people can, take that research and expand it and do more in their home country, maybe publish it, and you get to contribute to the scholarship. And it's really valuable in that respect because, you're able to add something new to the field that people, that other scholars maybe can't. So I really like that. Talking to people who have graduated already, most of them say that their one regret is that they didn't go abroad. If they didn't, you're never going to regret it. It's going to be a really formative experience, even if it's really hard. To be honest, my experience was generally very difficult, and that was challenging for me going in because I thought, oh, I'm going to thrive and I'm going to flourish, and I didn't expect to confront as many difficulties as I did, but I would never have, if I could make the choice again, I wouldn't have chosen to not do it because all of that was still very valuable, even if it wasn't easy. So advice for people, yeah, definitely go. I would say come in without a lot of expectations for what the experience is going to be, because that's what's really going to knock you off your feet at the beginning. If you have all of these ideas, not only of just what the program will be or what the country will be like or what the people will be like, but how you will respond to the change. Because if you come in thinking, oh, like I'm good at my foreign language, or I'm going to be able to adapt really well. If you don't, or if you confront challenges you weren't expecting, it's going to really rock you in a way that it probably won't if you maybe like approach it more humbly and just say like, whatever this experience is, I'm ready for it and I'm open to anything. So that would be my advice, because I definitely didn't come in that way. And if I could do it again, I would have wanted to just not to visualize it or try to imagine what it's going to be like before I'm actually there. And then you just kind of let you let things happen as they do, and you let the people that you meet be who they are, and you don't impose a lot of like what you expect it to be like onto the experience, if that makes sense. So that would be my biggest advice.